I got into a Genesis. This is luxury. Whether it's a sleek G70 or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.
Live in Israel this morning. Can't wait to see him next week. My friend Mike Huckabee. Mike, good morning. How are you, Mr. Ambassador?
I'm doing great, Sid. You're always doing great. So if I can just hang out with you, I'll be doing better.
You're sweet. You are very, very nice, Michael. Thank you. And I did say good morning. It's afternoon where you are. And, you know, my daughter is there right now, Mike. I've got one daughter and one son. And she's 22, and she's been in Tel Aviv for the week. And she calls me every hour, Daddy, what's Trump going to do next and what's going to happen? Because there's still a sense of fear in Israel that even though Israel's not involved in the latest bombing campaign that, you know, they may get hit. But I got to tell you before I get to all that, my daughter today is doing something that I want the LGBTQ community to hear, or the Queers for Palestine, Mike, you know, all these people. My daughter today is going to a huge gay pride parade in Tel Aviv. That is the democracy that is Israel. So for all the folks here, the LGBTQ community, Queers for Palestine, genocidal, we've got the biggest gay pride parade in the Middle East. Does that not speak to the great democracy that is Israel?
I think a lot of people may not understand that there are not any of those kind of parades going on anywhere else in the region. So whatever you may think of whether there ought to be a full month of gay pride, that's not the issue. The point is that in Israel, there is freedom. There is freedom of speech. There is freedom of association. There is freedom of religion. People can be not just Jewish. They can be Christian. They can be Muslim. They can be atheist. And they have a place. And it's one of those things that you cannot say that of countries in the rest of this region. So for all of the talk about Israel being apartheid or genocidal, it's all absolute blood libels. And the truth is, there is an extraordinary life that people live here. It's not perfect, but no country is, including the one that I love the most, the United States of America. But it is a remarkable place where the standard of living is better than anything in the region, and the freedom and the capacity to choose one's future is amazing, and the innovations, the technology, it's a pretty remarkable place. And one thing that when people in the U.S. talk about Israel, they think that everybody here is hunkered down and just scared to death. The truth is, Israelis wake up every day. They know people have guns and cannons and missiles pointed at them, but they wake up every day and they live their lives with a real sense of zest and celebration. And it's the resilience of the Israelis that is amazing.
Couldn't agree more. And now that you brought it up, a full month of gay pride is ridiculous. I'm sorry. But I feel that way about everything. There shouldn't be Black Month. There shouldn't be Gay Month. I wouldn't want Jewish Month, okay? Give you one day, have your parade like we do Israeli Day Parade in New York. Have a good time, and that's it. The whole month thing, I think, becomes perverse. That's just my opinion. But let me get back to my daughter, too, in Israel, because, again, she's been nervous. So for me, it was kind of twofold last night, Mike. I really wanted President Trump to hammer Iran 2 months ago. You remember that Tuesday night? That Tuesday night he was going to light up the sky. Civilization was going to end as we know it. And he didn't do it. He gave him another 10 days. And I want him to do it then. And I still want him to do it. But on the other hand, my daughter is there. I want to go there next Thursday. And I know that if we really, really do damage in Iran, that eventually they're going to get to Israel. And that's going to put those people in danger. So for me, I'm kind of conflicted. On one hand, I want President Trump to do what he really should have done 2 months ago, which is just annihilate him. But on the other hand, I'm worried about relatives and people in Israel who do have to suffer the consequences because, Mike, they can't hit Little Rock. They can't hit Brooklyn or Cincinnati, but they can certainly hit Tel Aviv.
They most certainly can. And now they have the capacity, as we know, because they shot a missile 4,100 kilometers, not just 2,000, which before, even in the last year, was their range, which means they can pretty much hit any city in Europe. And that threat ought to make the Europeans have a different posture, but unfortunately nothing seems to get them off their bubble, and that's a whole other discussion. But one thing I would just say is that there is a different posture that Israel has than any other country in the region because they know that they have always been under threat. So they have ubiquitous shelter systems throughout the country, and they have a missile defense system that is so sophisticated that 92% of the incoming missiles from Iran were intercepted, and the ones that weren't did minimal damage. It really was remarkable because in 6 weeks of very, very intense combat, there was less damage to significant structures and to civilian targets and to major assets than there was in the 12-day war of last summer. So even our mission personnel, we obviously closed mission facilities. We had people working from home. We were sheltering in place. We were taking all the precautions. It would shock most Americans to know that not one person was injured or killed who was in the shelter at the time of a missile attack. Not one. Sid, that's unbelievable if you stop and think about it. A ballistic missile is the size of an 18-wheel truck, and it comes in at hundreds of miles an hour, supersonic speed, with a significant warhead. And the fact that no one was killed or injured if they went into the shelter like they were supposed to is just a remarkable, I would call it a miracle.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is the amazing ambassador, Mike Huckabee, live in Israel this morning. So let's say that this deal goes through the next couple of days. Here's my fear, Mike Huckabee, okay? And it's a legitimate fear. I saw this deal already. And you know I love Trump. I love him. I adore him. He loves me too. We've got an unbelievable relationship like you two guys have. But I saw this deal already. Okay, so somewhere in this deal, once Iran acts like they're going to comply, and they're not going to. I don't care what piece of paper they signed. They're not going to comply, ever. They did it with Obama. They're going to do it to Trump, okay? And somewhere in this deal, I know they're going to get money. And when they get their sanctions loosened up, what do? They don't build hospitals, Mike. They don't build schools. No. They find more ways to get uranium, even with a deal in place, or they'll give money to their terror proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. I can't think of any deal that I would call even decent if somewhere down the road, maybe sooner than later, Iran gets money. That's my fear.
It's a legitimate fear. And even though those are very clear things that are being said in the open press, I've come to realize don't take the press's word at what President Trump will do, because I have a real sense of trust in his instincts. A lot of times, even I've heard things that maybe he would say in a press conference, and I'm thinking, oh, what does that mean? But when he got down to it, this is a person who has kept his promises, and he has said there will be no nuclear enrichment. Iran will never have nuclear weapons, and we're not going to give them money. So I'm just going to take what he said rather than what the press says he says and stick with that, because I have an innate confidence that this is a man who has led in a way I've never seen a president as strong as he is, never seen one who did what he said as effectively as he has, and I'm going to put my money on him right now.
Me too. Me too. But, there are people that are saying, come on, man, he's like the boy that cried wolf. He keeps telling Iran, we're going to hammer you, we're going to hammer you. You know what, we'll wait 10 days. And there are some, not supporters like you and I, because I'm with you, my faith and love, I'm with him, and I think he'll eventually win and do what we have to do. But there are some pretty ardent Trump supporters, Mike, that are saying, come on, man. I mean, at some point, Iran's going to just laugh anytime you threaten them. Is that
yeah. I think it's fair for people to wonder and to question. That's fair, because all they have is what they see, what they get from the press. But here's what I would say to them. Wait until we're in the final ticks of the clock of this game. I've been to a lot of basketball, baseball, and football games that I thought were going south on the team I was rooting for. And then it turns out that at the end of the game, we end up winning. And I just am confident that this president is not going to sell America out. He's not going to sell Israel out. Nobody's ever stood with Israel as solidly as he has. And it's not because of anything other than he understands the strategic value of the relationship we have with Israel. He understands that They're not just a friend or an ally. They are a partner. And that they have been for us the canary in the coal mine. Every enemy of Israel is an enemy of the United States. Whoever wants to destroy them ultimately wants to destroy the U.S. Iran's been saying for 47 years, death to Israel, death to America. Israel has only been the appetizer, but the U.S. has always been the entree for Iran.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks host the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's soccer night, and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway night with postgame fireworks and Broadway rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day, and the kids run around the bases.
A great day out for the entire family. Kids run the bases after every Sunday home game. Want the best seats all season? Get more Ferry Hawks for only $63. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
I'm not afraid to say this. I love Mike Huckabee. He's our great ambassador on the phone with me right now live from Israel. So the war could be over, Mike, between America and Iran. But is it necessarily over between Israel and Lebanon? I don't know if it's going to be, hey, we'll stop, they'll stop. I'm not sure Bibi is going to agree with that because as far as I know, and you're there, it doesn't seem like Hezbollah's done just about yet. So what is the relationship between the two conflicts?
I think it's very important to remember what Secretary Rubio has been very, very clear about. There is a distinct separation between Iran and Lebanon. Any deal that is made with Iran is not an automatic deal with Lebanon. Those are two separate things. Just because Hezbollah is a puppet proxy of Iran, that's part of the problem. It's one of the more reasons that we need to make sure that Iran is defanged because it is the mothership not only for Hezbollah, but for Hamas and for the Houthis. And Hezbollah, which is the threat in Lebanon, is in 12 Western Hemisphere countries right now. So this is no longer a Middle East issue. But I can assure you that the Israelis look at this and they understand that if Hezbollah continues to threaten their citizens in the north, as they have done repeatedly over many years, no matter what they say they're going to do, Israel is not going to stand down and allow their people to get hammered.
Good.
They're just not going to do it.
Good. So you can see a scenario where we have a deal between America and Iran over the next couple of days, but there's still fighting between Israel and Lebanon over that terror proxy.
That conflict between Hezbollah and Israel could end as soon as Hezbollah puts down their weapons. One of the great things that's happened, and I'm involved in all the talks between Lebanon and Israel and the U.S. as we've been meeting in Washington. We'll meet again a week from Monday. Part of what has really become clear, the Lebanese realize they're not at war with Israel. Israel's not at war with Lebanon. The problem is not the two countries. The problem is Hezbollah. If they no longer are a part of the equation, then Lebanon and Israel have peace. And they have a cooperative agreement. They have normalization. The only reason they don't have it now is because of Hezbollah.
Yep.
And neither Lebanon nor Israel is going to look the other way and let Hezbollah continue to mess up their future.
You're right. Talk to Judge Janine Pirro, very proud Lebanese lady. My friend Joseph Aboud, the great men's designer, very proud Lebanese man. And they hate Hezbollah. They hate what's going on between their country and Israel, and they want it to stop. So we are not that far away, Mike Huckabee, from elections. Now, people in America would lead you to believe that everybody hates Bibi, that he's a war criminal, he's a terrible person. The idiot mayor in my city wants to arrest him. He's a real moron. You got Cory Booker in New Jersey a couple of days ago saying that Bibi Netanyahu is the worst person in the world. Mike, the worst person in the world, Cory Booker. I love the guy. I can't wait to see him and you next Sunday in Israel. And my people are telling me that the elections are tomorrow. He will win again for the 6th time in 7 tries. What do you think?
He's like President Trump. Don't ever count him out, and I don't get involved in the intricacies of Israeli politics. It's inappropriate for my position to take a side, but I've had a relationship with the prime minister for over 30 years. I've known him when he was in office. I've known him when he wasn't in office. I will say this is not a political statement. It's a personal one. He has been a friend for a long time. We have an excellent relationship. And I would say of him as I would about President Trump, don't ever count him out.
Last one. Well said, by the way, Mike. Again, I look forward to seeing you. I know you're going to D.C. next Monday, so I'm hoping that means you'll speak on Sunday night to open up the JNS.
I will.
Oh, you are?
I'll see you Sunday night, yes.
Oh, that's great, because I told you this. I wasn't patronizing you, and as great as BB is and Levine and me and all these people, if you don't speak, we don't win. So we need you there. That's great. Last one. You were there right after the war started in 2023. So was I. Here we are, 2.5, almost 3 years later. What does Israel feel like today?
It feels like a nation that, even though they've been hammered and they're exhausted from the war and all of the horrific things that has been done to them physically, but also what's been done to them emotionally from European countries and from Canada and other places around the world who have put all of the pressure on Israel without understanding why they fought as they did to save hostages, including Americans. I'll tell you, I've never seen a nation full of people who have the will, not just to survive, but to thrive. Their stock market is up 100% since October the 7th. They had GDP growth over the last year and a half. That's during 5 wars. They've actually had economic growth. They have the highest per capita income in the region. And it's pretty remarkable when you just look at the facts on the table and you say, how is that possible? Because as Golda Meir famously said in 1973 when asked, what's the secret weapon? You win wars you're not supposed to win. You beat enemies 10 times your size. How do you do it? She said, because we have nowhere else to go. And they understand that.
I love that, too. Mike, we are so lucky to have you. You're a very, very, very special guy. I can't wait to see you in Jerusalem next Sunday night. Thank you for taking your time out. I know how busy you are in doing this today. I love you. I'll see you next week in Israel, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Take care.
God bless you. Mike Huckabee right there, our amazing ambassador, America in Israel, and he's just a wonderful guy. He really is. He's got I'll tell you this. Our country was built on Judeo-Christian values. That's what our country was built on. I have no disdain for the Muslim people. I don't like radical Islam like Mamdani. I have no disdain. But we were built on Judeo-Christian values. I don't know who represents that more, I mean this, than Mike Huckabee. A really special guy.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel's changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.